So we have seen different classification of oscillators. Okay, we have seen different classification of oscillators in the previous class, like based on the frequency generated, based on the mechanisms involved, nature of waveform generated, and so on. Another important classification which we have also discussed are according to the components of circuit. Okay, so in the feedback path, if you are using the inductor and capacitor oscillators, then we have classification according to the components that we are using. So first, if you are using inductors and capacitors, then those oscillators are called as LC oscillators. If you are using the resistor and capacitor in the feedback path, then right, those oscillators are called as RC oscillators. And if you are using quartz crystal, then it is crystal oscillator. So under LC oscillators, we have two categories: Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator. Okay, the structure of these two oscillators is somewhat the same. Okay, what we have in Hartley oscillator is we have two inductors, one capacitor, whereas in Colpitts oscillators we have two capacitors, one inductor. Okay, so very easy circuit diagrams of Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator. So let us quickly go and see the circuit diagram of Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator. So this is the circuit diagram for Hartley oscillator. Okay, this is the circuit diagram for Hartley oscillator. Okay, this particular part of the circuit, okay, is the amplifier block. Okay, this particular. We have two blocks basically, the amplifier block and the feedback block. Okay, the amplifier block is we are making use of common emitter amplifier. We are making use of common emitter. Why this is common emitter amplifier? Emitter is common, right? Emitter is grounded for AC capacitor short circuit. Emitter is grounded. Hence, this is common emitter amplifier. We are making use of CE amplifier. The same description is valid, right? Which we have discussed in first unit. R1, R2, RE, RC provide the necessary biasing. Okay. C1, C2 are coupling capacitors or blocking capacitors. CE is bypass capacitor. So the same old explanation for CE amplifier, which we discussed in first unit, right? We can write it here again. Then in the Hartley oscillator, I told you we have two inductors in the feedback. Okay, this is the feedback path. Feedback path has totally three components, two inductors, okay, one capacitor. So for Hartley oscillator, we have L1, L2, and capacitor. For Colpitts oscillator, the entire structure is same. The only difference is in place of L1, L2, we have C1, C2. Okay, in place of L1, L2, we have capacitors C1 and C2. And then in place of this capacitor C, we have inductor L. Okay. So the difference between Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator, circuit is the same. The only difference is in place of L1, L2, right? We have capacitor C1, C2. In place of capacitor C, we have inductor L. So Hartley oscillator, two inductors, one capacitor. Colpitts oscillator, two capacitors, one inductor. Okay. This is the circuit diagram of Colpitts oscillator. Circuit diagram of this is Colpitts oscillator circuit diagram. Okay, as I told you, Colpitts oscillator. This part is the same. Let it be Hartley oscillator. Let it be Colpitts oscillator. This part is the same. In Colpitts oscillator, we have two capacitors, one inductor. So based on the name, we can remember, right, how many capacitors and how many inductors. Here, Colpitts starting with C. Okay. So remember two capacitors. Colpitts oscillator means starting with C. So remember two capacitors. So remember two capacitors. Okay. Hartley oscillator. Coming to Hartley oscillator. Here, okay. Hartley in the name, okay, in the name Hartley oscillator. In the name Hartley oscillator, okay. There is no C anywhere. Hartley, but L is there. Okay, so remember two inductors, right? Remember two inductors. So the difference between so what is the difference between the circuit diagrams of Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator? Can anybody answer? What is the difference between circuit diagram of Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator? Anybody answer? In Hartley oscillator, how many inductors and how many capacitors in the feedback path? Yes, please answer fast. Easy question and very important question.
Two inductors and two capacitors.
No, two inductors and one capacitor. Hartley oscillator. Okay, Hartley oscillator in the feedback path. Hartley oscillator in the feedback path. Two inductors, one capacitor. What about Colpitts oscillator? Yes, what about Colpitts oscillator? Hartley, I told you. What about Colpitts oscillator? Answer.
Two capacitors.
Two capacitors, how many inductors? Two capacitors and how many inductors? Colpitts oscillator. Yes. Colpitts oscillator. This is Colpitts oscillator. Feedback path has two capacitors, one inductor. Okay. The rest is the same. The rest is the same for Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator. Okay, right. Now what we will do is, let us derive the general expression which is valid for both Hartley and Colpitts oscillator. Okay. We have seen the circuit diagrams. We have seen the circuit diagrams of Hartley and Colpitts oscillator. Okay. So under LC oscillators, we will be discussing two oscillators, Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator. So we have seen that the general structure of Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator is somewhat the same. Okay. The general structure of Hartley oscillator and Colpitts oscillator is somewhat the same. So what we can do is, we can first analyze the general structure. Okay, first we can analyze the general structure. So the general structure of the LC oscillator, right? It could be the Hartley oscillator or Colpitts oscillator. The general form is this. Okay, we have an amplifier block. Okay, then we have Z1, Z2, Z3, right? For Hartley oscillator, what is Z1, Z2, Z3? Can anybody answer? For Hartley oscillator, what is Z1, what is Z2, what is Z3? Z1 and Z2 are?
Inductors.
Very good. Z3 is?
Capacitor.
Yes, that is Hartley oscillator. What about Colpitts oscillator? For Colpitts oscillator, Z1, Z2 are?
Capacitors.
Very good. Z3 is
Inductors.
very good. Okay. Z3 is inductor. Right? So what I want to say is this is the general form of an LC oscillator. Okay, the general form of an LC oscillator, where the amplifier block, either we can use a bipolar junction transistor or a field effect transistor. Okay, right? So this is the amplifier block, and in the Hartley and Colpitts circuit that I have shown, we have considered common emitter configuration. We have considered the bipolar junction transistor in common emitter configuration. Okay. Then Z1, Z2, and Z3 are reactive elements constituting the feedback circuit. Okay. These are the reactive elements. We have discussed in the previous class tank circuit, right? Charging and discharging in the tank circuit can provide oscillations. Okay. So those tank circuit consisting of this reactive elements, okay, Z1, Z2, Z3 are reactive elements, right? And we have seen Z1, Z2, Z3, depending upon the oscillator, either these are inductor or capacitor. Okay, Z1, Z2, Z3, either they are inductor or they are capacitors. Okay, so general form of an LC oscillator we have seen. Okay, now we know that the transistor we can replace, okay, right? What does the amplifier block primarily consists of? The amplifier block primarily consists of the transistor. Okay. So what we can do is, under certain approximations, we can simply replace the amplifier with the equivalent circuit of transistor. Okay. I repeat, the main component in the amplifier is transistor. So, under certain approximations, we can simply replace this amplifier block, okay, with the equivalent circuit of the transistor, as you can see here. Okay, so this is the general form, replacing the amplifier block with the approximate H parameter model of the transistor. See this HIE, HFE, IB, the approximate H parameter model we have seen in first unit. Okay. So what we are now doing, we are simply replacing the amplifier block, right, with the approximate H parameter model of BJT in common emitter configuration. Okay. So this is simply the approximate model of transistor. We are replacing the amplifier with the approximate H parameter model of transistor. Remaining Z1, Z2, Z3 as is. Okay. Now here we are labeling the current through Z1, we are calling I1. The current through Z2, we are calling I2. Now I1 flows here, okay? I1 flows here, and here we have the base terminal, okay? This is grounded terminal is emitter terminal, and the other terminal is the collector terminal. Usually base current is very small, okay, for an amplifier, right? In an amplifier circuit, the base current is very small. Because the base current is very, very small, okay, whatever the current, we discussed that current through Z1 is I1, we can say that the current through Z3 is also I1 because base current is very small. Because the base current is very small, okay, because the base current means current entering the input terminal of the amplifier is very small. Whatever I1 comes here, we can say almost the entire amount flows in the other branch also. Hence, that is the reason I1 is mentioned here. And here also the current is approximately considered equal to I1. Okay, right? So, because the base current is very small, okay, in both the circuits, we can approximate that the current through Z3 is also I1. Okay, the current through Z3 is also I1. So actually, see the circuit, I1 flows here, but because IB is negligible, very small, right? We can say nearly zero current flows here, right? So I1, whatever I1 comes here, the same I1 has to flow in this path through Z3. That is the reason I1 is labeled here. Okay. Likewise, in both because both circuits are equivalent to each other. Here also we are labeling I1 is coming here. Very small negligible current flows in this branch. So whatever I1 comes here, we can approximate the entire I1 is flowing in this path like this. Okay. Fine. So these are the important notations. Another important notations are we know for the bipolar junction transistor, right? Under common emitter configuration, base is input, collector is output. So input current is base, okay? And the equivalent circuit simply consists of only two components, HIE, right? And then HFEI. This we have already seen in first. Okay. Then the current entering the collector terminal, we are representing it as IC. Obviously, we discussed this current entering the base terminal, we are representing it IB. Okay. Now here, the input is from 1 and 3. Okay. Input is applied from 1 and 3, whereas okay, input we are applying here to the amplifier. We are naming the nodes 1, 2, 3. Input is between 1 and 3. Output is between 2 and 3. Okay. Next, let us analyze this circuit. Okay. Let us analyze this circuit. See, the idea that we will follow here is, now this is the, okay, first, this is the circuit for any LC oscillator. It could be Hartley, it could be Colpitts oscillator. Okay. Then, if we have amplifier, we cannot analyze. But if we replace the amplifier, the transistor with its equivalent, now we can apply KCL, KVL, whatever we can analyze, we can analyze. Okay. The result that we get for this circuit is the general expression for a LC oscillator. Okay. The general condition for an LC oscillator we are going to derive now from this circuit. Okay. So first, okay, what we will do is, let us try to simplify or represent this circuit in terms of simpler components. Okay. So first of all, here we can observe Z1 and HIE, they are in what? They are in series or they are in parallel? Can anybody answer? Z1 and HIE. Those two components are in? Please answer. Z1 and HIE are in what? First,
Series, sir.
how they are series? See, any component, you say they are in series if only one end is connected and to that junction, no other component or source is connected. Then only you say they are in series. You say two elements are in parallel if both ends are connected to each other. Okay. If both ends are connected to each other, then we say that two elements are in parallel. Irrespective of something else may be connected or may not be connected, as long as both ends of the components are connected to each other, then we say that the elements are in parallel. So now tell me, HIE and Z1, they are in series or they are in parallel?
Parallel.
Yes, they are in parallel because see, observe. This end, HIE Z1 connected. Okay. And then HIE other end also connected to Z1. Right. So both ends of Z1 and HIE they are connected. Means HIE and Z1 are in parallel. Okay. So first what we will do is, let us represent the parallel combination of these two by a new variable Z dash. Okay. Let us call the parallel combination of the HIE and Z1. The parallel combination of HIE and Z1, let us call it as Z dash. Two impedances in parallel. What is the formula? Z1, Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. Very famous formula. R1, R2 by R1 plus R2. Two resistors in parallel. Same formula. Okay. So Z1 HIE parallel combination is nothing but Z1 into HIE by Z1 plus HIE. Z1, Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. That is the formula, is it? Two impedances in parallel. Very famous formula. So, Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE, we are calling it as Z dash. Means this parallel combination, we are simply giving it a new name, Z dash. Okay. Then let us proceed further. Now, here, what we discussed, we have 2 and 3 is output, 1 and 3 is input to the amplifier. Likewise here, okay, this point is 2, this point is 3. So 2 and 3 is the output, okay, right? Is the output of the amplifier block. Now, what are connected between 2 and 3? Let us see, okay. Between 2 and 3, Z2 is connected. Let us see this path. In this path, between 2 and 3, we have Z3 and this already we call it as Z dash. Okay. This parallel combination of HIE and Z1, we already named it as Z dash. Okay. So from 2 to 3, in this path, we have Z2, whereas in this path, we have Z3 plus Z dash. Okay, Z3. In this path, we have Z3 plus Z dash. Okay. So, what I want to say here is, between 2 and 3, we have the output of the amplifier. Okay, right? So, whatever the equivalent impedance that we get between 2 and 3, that we can call it as the load of the amplifier. Okay, right? So, what all the total impedance that we get between the points 2 and 3, that impedance, we can call it as the load impedance of the amplifier. Okay. So, what is the load impedance? Can anybody answer? Z2 in this path. In this path, Z3 plus Z dash. Okay. So Z2 in parallel with Z3 plus Z dash. Okay, so the overall load impedance, is Z2 in parallel with Z3 plus Z dash. Okay, so ZL, the overall load impedance, ZL, the overall load impedance will be simply Z2, okay, will be simply Z2 in parallel with Z3 plus this is Z dash. Okay. Fine. So this is the formula for any impedance in parallel, right? 1 by Z equivalent is equals to 1 by Z1, okay, or 1 by Z equivalent is equals to 1 by Zx plus 1 by Zy. Two impedances in parallel, right? Add the reciprocal, take reciprocal. That is two resistors in parallel, very famous formula you already. So one branch we have Z2, another branch we have Z3 plus Z dash, okay? So Z2 in parallel with Z3 plus Z dash we are considering. Z2 in parallel with Z3 plus Z dash we are considering. The formula for parallel is 1 by Zx plus 1 by Zy. Very famous formula. Two impedances are two resistors in parallel. Okay. So we have this relation 1 by ZL is equal to 1 by Z2 plus 1 by Z dash plus Z2. Okay. Now let us simplify this. Here, if we take common LCM, okay, then you know denominator, simply multiply both the denominators. That is the LCM we will get, right? So simplifying this further, multiply both denominators Z2 into Z dash plus Z3. Simple school level mathematics. Okay, no magic. We are not doing any magic here. So Z2 into Z dash plus Z3. Then you know this part will go to numerator. This part will go to the numerator. So numerator Z dash plus Z3 plus Z2. In simple words, this fractional part we are taking common denominator. Same what we discussed, what we studied in school, we are applying here. Okay. So 1 by ZL we got. The reciprocal of this, if we take reciprocal on both sides, we will get ZL. Okay. So taking reciprocal, denominator will now become numerator, numerator will now become denominator. Okay. We have 1 by ZL here. To get ZL, we have to take a reciprocal. So next, we are taking reciprocal of this entire equation. So numerator will become denominator, denominator will become numerator, isn't it? So Z2 into Z dash plus Z3 will now come in the, okay, will now come in the numerator, right? Z2 into Z dash plus Z3 will now come in the numerator. Then numerator becomes denominator, isn't it? So Z dash plus Z3 plus Z2. Z dash, Z3, Z2 will now come in the numerator. Okay. We have 1 by ZL. We are taking reciprocal to get ZL. Simple. Next. Now let us further simplify. Z dash. What is Z dash? Z dash is nothing but the parallel combination of Z1 and HI. Isn't it? Z dash is nothing but the parallel combination of Z1 and HIE. This combination Z1 HIE, right? So what is that Z dash? Nothing but the Z dash is nothing but Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. So next target, replace Z dash with Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. So next target, wherever we have Z dash, replace that with Z1 HIE by Z1 plus HIE. Here two places we have z dash. Here we have in the numerator z dash, and here we have again in the denominator z dash. So next task, replace both those z dash with the expression of z dash, which is z1 hie by z1 plus hi. So here also we are replacing z1 hie by z1 plus hi. Then here also denominator z1 hie by z1 plus hi. Remaining everything as it is. Next, right? This is not in proper form. Numerator by denominator, again in denominator also we have x by y form. Okay, to bring it into proper form, let us multiply numerator term as well as denominator term with z1 plus hi. Okay, simple school level maths. This is not in proper form. This is in the form of x by y by z by w. Okay, simply bringing in proper form. We are not doing any magic. Simply we are bringing it in proper form. Okay, so how to bring in proper form? Multiply the numerator term with z1 plus hi. Also, multiply the denominator term with z1 plus hi. Okay. So first, multiplying the numerator term with z1 plus hi, we have. So if you multiply this with z1 plus hi, z1 plus hi and this z1 plus hi will cancel in the first term. So what will remain? Z1, Z2, HIE will remain. So Z1, Z2, HIE will remain. Second term, multiplying with Z1 plus HIE. So first this Z2 we will multiply inside. So Z2, Z3 multiplied with Z1 plus HIE. What will that be? Z2, Z3, Z1. Z2, Z3, Z1, this term. Then Z2, Z3, HI. Z2, Z3, HI. Okay. So numerator completed. Next denominator also, this is not in proper form. To bring in proper form as discussed, numerator we already multiplied with Z1 plus HI. Denominator also we multiply with Z1 plus HI. Numerator, denominator we are multiplying the same. The equation is not getting changed, isn't it? So, next multiplying denominator with Z1 plus HI. Z2 into Z1 plus HI will become Z1 Z2 plus Z2 HI. Okay. Next, this term with Z1 plus HI. Z1 plus HI, Z1 plus HI will cancel. Z1 HI will remain. So, Z1 HI will remain. Next, Z3 multiplied over by Z1 plus HI. So, that will be Z1 Z3 plus Z3 into HI. So, we got this in this form. If we observe numerator, Z2 we can take common. Z2 we are taking common. There are two HIE terms. So HIE also we can take common.